Carroll bringing it forward. Thompson's making the run. Carroll hangs on to it though. Still Davy Carroll. Could go all the way here. Oh, what a goal!
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Ringing the Blues, the official Wycombe Wanderers podcast in partnership with Virgin Media. On the show this week we have all the action and reaction from the game against Wrexham at Adams Park. Emil Grygar, the Wycombe Wanderers fan, joins us on Till Death Us Do Part. Plus Football League expert Gab Sutton gives his lowdown on the run-in. But first, let's head to Mexico City for the full Liga Juan results with Uri.
We are ringing the blues from Mexico City. It's me, Uri, and here are the results for League One. Bolton Wanderers 0, Stockport County 1, Cambridge United 0, Peterborough United 1, Blackpool 1, Leyton Orient 2, Charlton Athletic 1, Wigan Athletic 2, Huddersfield Town 5, Crawley Town 1, Lincoln City 5, Bristol Rovers 0, Mansfield Town 2, Barnsley 1, Northampton Town 1, Birmingham City 1, Reading 1, Stevenage 1, Rotherham United 1, Exeter City 1, Shrewsbury Town 0, Burton Albion 2, Wycombe Wanderers 0, Wrexham 1. Wrexham took their chance and Wycombe didn't take theirs. So Chairboys Spanish this week is a very wise thought from mi amigo Filiberto Cachapollos. Football is a game of fine margins. How do we say football in Spanish? Football. How do we say game? Juego. How do we say fine? Fino. How do we say margins? Márgenes. So, el fútbol es un juego de márgenes finos. Very wise word, Filiberto Cachapollos. That's it for this week, and back to England with mi amigo Filiberto Cachapollos. Adios!
Cheers, Uri. Fantastic as ever. Right then, Wrexham came to town for a sold-out game at Adams Park. Bez Labala joined us on commentary, and here's what happened.
Rodriguez having to sit back and help the midfield here. Humphreys uses Grimmer again. Back to Humphreys on the right wing. Oh, it's a lovely bit of skill. Gets away from Rathbone. Right-footed crosses a good ball there. And Onyedinma gets the first effort on target. It's a header from Onyedinma going towards the top corner. Comfortable save by Okonkwo, who runs into Udo trying to clear the ball. Lovely bit of play from Wycombe Wanderers, the wing play especially, Bez.
Yeah, great play.
Rodriguez gets caught in possession. Udo goes for goal. Good effort. And Okonkwo has to step back there. Almost took him by surprise, the tall keeper. Got two gloves on it and took it in the second attempt. That's a great strike. No backlift.
Like pass it to the side to Richie.
Ball into the box.
Oh, nice.
Onyedinma on the spin, turns, follows it over the bar.
I always feel like
to work the angle.
Yeah, set it up like that and then work it to somebody to the side. It's difficult to get opportunities off a straight ball straight down the middle.
O'Connell. Drops into the area and Caleb Taylor nods it back to Norris and he gets not enough on it and it's put on the post. That's the closest we've come. Caleb Taylor gets out of jail, nods it back to Norris. Not enough on it and Smith was lurking, puts it onto the base of the post. And that's a glorious, glorious opportunity for Wrexham and they've spurned it. Back underway at Adams Park. Leahy now swings in the corner. It's a good delivery. Looking for Caleb Taylor. Gets up, nods it down. Off the line. Joe Lowe over the bar.
No!
What a chance for Wycombe Wanderers. Taylor nodded it down. It bounced up. It sat up for Joe Lowe. There was no pace on it. And he's headed it over the bar from 3 yards out. Glorious opportunity immediately from the restart, Bez.
Oh, speechless. I don't know what to say. What a chance.
Runs it now to Brunt. Brunt down the line to Longman, who's continued now, but onto the left-hand side. Smith and Fletcher wait in the box. It's crossed in now. Fletcher goes after it, heads it back now to James. James's volley crunches into Leahy. Drops down onto the volley and it's a goal. Wrexham have scored. Sam Smith with it. The ball was deflected into the area. It bounced out to a narrow angle and Smith volleys the ball home past Norris to give Wrexham the lead here. Wrexham have taken the chance when it's come. Fletcher got into the first cross, headed it back to James. James's shot was blocked by Leahy, deflected up into the box. And then it was headed across by Fletcher again, down to Smith. And you have to applaud the finish, Bez. It was a great left-footed volley, wasn't it?
It's just what they've been doing all season, really. They're very good off them second balls, reacting quicker.
There it clears left-footed towards Udo in the centre circle. The bounce evades Udo. O'Connell's lost it though. Udo's on it now inside the area. Forced wide, uses McCleary. McCleary to Berry! Great save! Brilliant save. What a move by Wycombe. Great pass from McCleary to pick out Berry, who got it onto his right foot. He drilled it low, and Arthur Okonkwo has got down brilliantly to save it. Bez, that was a great chance.
It's an outstanding save. Udo's done amazing to chase down the loose ball. Great ball by G-Mac, and I think he's done everything right. He's put the ball back across the keeper, and it's just an outstanding save.
Mike, a narrow game, but also a game that wasn't always about football this afternoon, unfortunately.
Yeah, on behalf of everyone associated to Wycombe Wanderers Football Club, just want to wish the Wrexham fan all the best. You know, it's positive news at the end of the game that he's in a stable condition. I think sometimes when that happens, it puts life into perspective. So on behalf of everyone at the football club, just want to send our well wishes to the gentleman and his family. Okay, thanks very much. And going back now to the game, a game of very fine margins, wasn't it? A 1-0 defeat, but there were times where that could have gone either way. Yeah, and it was the same. You know, I spoke to the players when I came into the football club that we've got some really, really important games. We've got a really tough fixture list from now to the end of the season, and obviously the Birmingham game and the Wrexham game straight away are ones that you kind of cast your kind of eye to because they're in and around us. And I said to the players, those games will be decided by moments, and unfortunately in both games those moments haven't landed for us. I think it's a minute 20 from when they clear the ball off the line and we could be 1-0 up celebrating to kind of disaster, and the ball's in the back of our net. And I think my biggest disappointment, I thought in the first half we penned them in, we locked them in, we looked a lot more aggressive out of possession, which was really pleasing. And I don't think Will Norris hardly touched the ball in the first half, and then the second half became a little bit too basketball-y for me. It came a little bit too end-to-end. For whatever reason, I think it played into Wrexham's hands in terms of their style of players, play up to the front man, play off the front man, and obviously I felt we stopped that in the first half. I didn't feel we did that in the second half, and the game's decided just by a moment. And it's heart-wrenching, it's gutting. You know, the myself, the staff, the players. You know, we're going to lick our wounds. We've got to get on with it. It is what it is now. We've got to bury it. It's 30 points still to play for. And we'll go into Tuesday full of confidence that we'll get 3 points.
Richard Kone not in the team today, reported ill. Not the ideal preparation, I guess, on a match day.
No, you do all your work in the week, and you turn up on a Saturday morning here to think all your work's done, and then unfortunately Rich came to see the doctor and was not in a good way, unfortunately. He tried his hardest, he was devastated, so then you've got to make a few tweaks and changes, and all the work that you've done kind of goes out the window a little bit, but that's not an excuse. I'm going to represent this football club properly, and I won't make excuses. The reality is, we've lost a game of football. It's been decided by a moment. We've got to defend the moment probably a little bit better than what we did do. It's a good finish, but it is what it is. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. We've got to dust ourselves down and make sure we get 3 points on Tuesday.
You talked about the way the game turned. At one end it was off the line and then Jolo heads over, but there was a chance after the Wrexham goal as well, and the keeper pulled out a huge save then too.
Yeah, I felt we had 3 or 4 kind of really big moments in around their box, and they have experienced players. I think they manage those moments pretty well. But listen, I don't think Wrexham could come away from the game saying they deserve to win the game. That being said, we've lost a game of football. They're taking the 3 points. They're obviously going to feel that there's a little bit of momentum, or the ascendancy will go their way. I don't think that's the case at all. I think there's 30 points still to play for. We've got a really together group. We work really, really hard in the week. And we're looking forward to the next 10 games. I have full confidence this group can put a run of games together and finish the season really, really strongly, and we can still achieve what we've set out to achieve.
Wycombe have a game in hand. That's on Tuesday, so that comes thick and fast, doesn't it, the fixtures now at this time of year?
Definitely, win on Tuesday, the whole perspective looks slightly different. Obviously we want to win every game of football, but the reality is we've now lost to Wrexham since I've been in, lost to Birmingham. And we can't feel sorry for ourselves. There's big moments in those games. They didn't land for us. It is what it is. That's football. We've got to move forward and look to the future. And as I said, I'm really confident in the group. I'm really confident for the last 10 games. And I know we'll get a really positive performance on Tuesday evening.
Good to hear from Wycombe Wanderers head coach Mike Dodds after the final whistle. But what about the Wrexham fans? The away end was packed, so it's time for the opposition view. A big week for the regional accents department. And before we start, we'd like to send our best wishes to the Wrexham fan who was taken ill during the game for their recovery. And also say a big thank you to the medic, staff and everyone at the club and the fans in the away end for their response during the game. Matt, WXM 30.
A woeful first hour, but once again we improve when Rodriguez leaves the pitch. Automatic promotion is there for the taking now. A huge result. Wycombe are awful. There's no way they'll chase us down.
Whitegate.
There's a long way to go yet. Wycombe have a game in hand and a better goal difference. And our form is all over the place. But I've said before that with our squad we should be better than the other teams in the run-in. Great to see Smith get his reward today. What a great signing. He will be key for us now.
The Holt's Dragon.
I would agree that our form is a bit inconsistent. However, that seems to be the same for most of the top half at present, including our opposition today. Our results have been good, but the inconsistent form and generally only winning our games 1-0 means there's little room for complacency.
New York Red.
Once again, what a huge difference when Fletcher and Lee came on. Both are better on the ball and create the time and space for themselves. We then kept the ball better and worked it down the pitch better. Fletcher plays as a proper striker, so that helps Smith immediately. And what a shock! The strikers combined to score!
Red Pensioner.
The first half was the usual away day performance. Second half, we upped the tempo due to our brilliant fans up in their tempo. When Fletch came on, he got closer to Smith, which gave him more breathing space, resulting in that quality finish and man of the match for me. It was a gritty game by our lads, and the result is all that counts. Well done to one and all.
The Night Dancer.
Fletcher coming off the bench is like pressing the Create Chaos button. A flick here, a clever pass there, and next thing you know, something's brewing. Scientists are still trying to explain it.
Tony.
A fantastic winner from Smith. But we really do need to talk about Okungowu's 2 great saves when the game restarted. Especially the second one.
Old Paddock Man.
Yes, an absolutely brilliant 3 points. Even if they were without Kone. But I can't really celebrate in full, though, until that poor fan's condition is confirmed. And hopefully the news is positive.
Fieldtown Red.
I thought everyone at Wycombe handled that situation admirably. Their stewards, their players applauding us when they came back out, and obviously their paramedics. Hope the fan is okay.
Midwest Express.
Fair play to the Wycombe team for clapping the Wrexham fans before the match restarted. Very classy.
Diablo 1981.
Wycombe fans were also coming out in their droves to say they hoped our fan was better soon. They seem a classy bunch in all fairness to them, And if we go up, I hope they follow us.
There's been a rumour that there's a new lightning-fast player in town, and I can confirm these rumours are correct. Virgin Media is here and is guaranteed to be a crowd pleaser. If you're tired of your broadband giving you the blues every time you want to do something, fear not. Virgin Media are right here in Wycombe and have brought their lightning-fast full fibre to the area to keep you entertained in between matches. Tuck into as many live sporting events, movies, games and tunes as your heart desires. Not forgetting our podcast with unlimited downloads on Virgin Media's intelligent Wi-Fi. All delivered at the speeds you need to keep the whole house happy. And the best part is, you don't need to wait until the next transfer window to make Virgin Media your favourite signing of the season. Find out more at virginmedia.com or drop into your local O2 store. New customers only, eligible Virgin Fibre areas only, subject to survey, network capacity and credit check. Football League expert Gab Sutton was at Adams Park on Saturday, so we took the chance to catch up with him after the game for his take on the running. Gab Sutton, EFL expert, great to see you here at Wycombe versus Wrexham. We're in the aftermath of the game, but what brings you to a game like this? I'm sure, it wasn't a big game, was it?
Well, second against third. Really enjoyed the experience of coming here, and great place to watch a bit of football.
Now let's talk about League One in the big picture, because Wycombe, well, now in third, but with a game in hand going into Tuesday night against Rotherham. Wrexham now in second with Birmingham City. But if we go back to August, not many people were expecting Wycombe to be up there. Birmingham, Wrexham maybe, but Wycombe still in with an excellent shout of getting involved in that top two.
Yeah, from the outside, Phil, it's a really curious position that Wycombe Wanderers are in, because on the one hand you're in one of the highest positions you've ever been in your entire history, and so there's a real excitement around that. On the other hand, you're bedding in a new head coach who hasn't worked permanently as a number one before in this, in senior football. You're bedding in, I think, was it 10-15 players brought in January, so it's a little bit of an unusual situation that Wycombe Wanderers find themselves in, but in terms of the big picture, a really exciting future, I think.
And around League One then, we're looking at the teams coming up behind as well. Charlton, the ones to watch, it seems. Nathan Jones, obviously no one's drinking coffee or going shopping, but Charlton are getting the business done at the moment, aren't they, on a fantastic run?
They certainly are, yeah. Charlton have been in extraordinary form. I think they've always had a really solid defensive base about them, but more recently they've added layers to that. They found new means of creativity. I like Kane Ramsey, the right back, is one of the best in the division, I think. Thierry Small on the left, of course, as well, and Mars Lieberden coming back fit, I think, has made a huge difference for the Addicts. Massive.
And Bolton Wanderers, another team, I know they lost today, but they've picked up some really good form under Stephen Schumacher as well. Huge club, huge expectation from their fan base, and another team that are well placed as we head into the run-in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Bolton Wanderers might be looking more at the playoffs now. I think they've lost back-to-back, which is a bit of a setback for Stephen Schumacher's side, but I think they've got some good players, so I think they'll be a threat in the playoffs.
And who else now, in your opinion, in League One? I mean, it's all up for grabs, isn't it? Birmingham, your team, I think, are home and host.
Yeah, it's not up for grabs for the title. I think it's really wide open. I think obviously Wycombe and Wrexham are the two sides that are right in the mix, on paper going for second. But I do think there's room for a runner like a Charlton or a Stockport to force themselves in there.
Huddersfield, big result today, change of manager as well, which came at a big surprise to everybody. Sure. But again, another ex-Premier League team, big expectation. They'll be saying that they could get in there too.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Huddersfield for the top two. I think the gap for them might be a bit too big, but they've brought in John Worthington, who's obviously got a good reputation as a player, I guess, and he's brought some of the feel-good factor back. Played some really good attacking football this afternoon against Crawley by all accounts. So I think Huddersfield will feel like their feel-good vibes and a bit of, I think they've really struggled with injuries as well, Phil. I think they've had into double figures this season as well, which kind of helped. So I think maybe without those they could have been more in the conversation.
And in terms of the bottom of the table, because obviously teams in the relegation dogfight, they can often have their say at the other end as well as they start to pick up results, but the bottom four, it's looking to be like those four are going to really struggle to get out.
Yeah, it's looking difficult for Gareth at Shrewsbury, isn't it, unfortunately, so he's going to be up against it, I think, in the last 9 games or so. To be honest, I struggle to see any of the four getting out. I think Burton Albion winning at Shrewsbury gives themselves a bit of a glimmer of hope, but I think for Crawley, Cambridge and unfortunately Shrewsbury, it's tough.
And we always say this when we talk to you, Gab, this is where the action is, isn't it? This is where the excitement is. You can forget your Premier League for the time being. League One, League Two, this is where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a thrilling division, isn't it, Phil? So I'm really excited about how it ends up. Possibly not so much at the bottom end, but certainly in terms of the playoffs and the automatic promotion race.
Well, it's always good to see you at Adams Park, and hopefully we'll see you again before the end of the season.
Absolutely, Phil. Cheers, mate.
Supporting a football club is like a marriage. Your club is there for life through the good times and the bad. We ask Chairboys fans for their most cherished old memory, their current favourite player, the best borrowed player we've ever had, and for something blue, we talk club merchandise. Joining us this week in Thailand, we do get about on this feature, Emil Grygar, Wycombe Wanderers fan. Emil, lovely to see you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm in Thailand, yes. It's actually been raining. And as I said earlier, possibly that it's a little bit apprehensive to get it right and to pass on my feelings and wants and wishes of the mighty Blues, etc.
So we find you today in the other side of the world. But where does your story with the great Wycombe Wanderers begin? How does it happen?
Well, I'm 80 as of March 8 the other day, and my memory, you know, I can't remember what I did yesterday, but sometimes I can remember what I did 60 years ago, and it happens to all of us, I think. But I can actually remember, and I'll try to reflect back, where did my journey begin? And I think it was about 8 years of age. I don't know if I went with my parents to Wembley, and I was about 8. I'm born in 45, and I've been looking up loads of history of the Isthmian League and this and that and Bishop Auckland and all those clubs, and I can't remember who we played or how we got on or who I was actually with, because both my parents weren't football orientated, but it stayed with me now for 72 years, and I feel it's inherent. It's in the system, and it's sometimes I curse it, sometimes I love it, but you enjoy it, and you enjoy it at times. But so it started there and progressed through the years. I lived in High Wycombe, and saw many games and etc. at Lokes Park. Now it's Adams Park, and I actually trained with is it Brian Lee? Brian Lee trained on a Tuesday night with Wycombe Wanderers. I think that was a time of Roger Horseman and John Delaney and all those names. So, and that was just right next to the hospital, as you know. I don't know if it's still there now or what has happened to it.
Yeah, the hospital building is still there, as you would remember it, the old sort of brutalist building. There's a newer building, right, which is now on sort of half of Lokes Park, and there's some houses and a car park. But the Lokes, right, you know, the little road that went up behind the gasworks end is still there, and the Lokes Park gates are now at Adams Park. So,
all right. Oh, yeah, that's lovely. But the infamous slope, and I did kick the ball out there with them. And it was it was a distinct advantage back in those days.
Well, if you park in the hospital car park, you definitely have to use your handbrake. The slope is still there. It's so fascinating that you got to play on the famous pitch at Lokes Park with the team. Was that as a player? Were you trying out? Were you trying to impress Brian Lee?
No. Sorry to misinterpret that. No, Brian let me train with him. I don't know why. And I reflected back and talking about can't remember things. I can't remember his name. Nice looking player he was. And he'd recently joined them, and I went past him a couple of times. I think I was quite nipping half right, and he smacked me one. And that's true. And one of the Wycombe players said he did that on purpose. I said, yeah, I know, but I'm honoured. I can't. So I don't know. I sort of disobeyed, come away from there, but that was, and we trained behind the pitch on the top side. I seem to remember
That's
There
right.
was a small training pitch. It will all come back to me as we go on, Phil. And can I actually remember I lived in I worked for T. Wall and Sons in Loudwater, and then we lived in Facets Road, Loudwater. I was actually still supporting the Blues then, and I parted with my lady died of cancer, bless her socks, and I have 5 children. And the eldest is Shelley. She's 57. My grandson, he's more blue than I, and he's in United States at the moment. And it's quite funny. I have a thing called FOTMOB, FOTMOB. My solicitor friend in Slough, and I know when we're playing a crunch game, if I don't turn my phone off, and it doesn't matter because I haven't got a job next day, so I can sleep all day or do whatever I want. I leave it on, and when we score, you get ooh, and then when they score, whoever they are, it goes oh god, so that can be fun. But as actually when I left Wycombe, I can't rightly remember, but I still got lots of friends there, and a lot of past now because of their age.
And I guess the football club then connects you back to home, and it sounds like it connects the family by the sound of it. You've passed on your love of Wycombe to your children and grandchildren by the sound of it.
Yeah, they blew, and daughter asked after how did we get on, and other extensions of the family, and it is family orientated, and that is one of the nice things about. There was never any violence. We know what goes on in football. You have violence, crowd trouble, and this. And to my knowledge, there's no major incidents has ever happened to my knowledge, and that's been nice, and that always has put us in good stead.
Absolutely right. Let's start off with some of these questions then. Something old. Your favourite ever Wycombe Wanderers memory. What could it be?
Well, I suppose with getting promoted to the Championship for one season, apart from Mr. Rooney doing us for 1 point, and down we went. That was euphoric. With Middlesbrough, with Jack Charlton, I was there too, and we drew 0-0. I could have sneaked it, and they done us 1-0 on the return. But there has been many euphoric moments, but being promoted, and obviously I've seen that, and now the apprehension of a possibility, and I hope he instills this to the players, and I'm sure he does, that it is just one game, and it's as simple as that. And you start talking about promotion, as Wrexham and Birmingham have, I think that goes in our favour. But the day at Wembley was a great day. It really was. So
the one where we beat Oxford. Where were you in the world when that was taking place?
I came back for it wherever I was. I haven't been in the country many years. I've been all over the shop: South America, South Africa, and Europe. Crete. I've got a camper van. I live in Crete. I should be leaving here in June. I love travel. And I should go and live in a camper van on a beach in South Crete, a place called Suya. May 3 is our last game, I think, at home to Stockport.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And whether that's relevant or not, I don't know. I still haven't booked my flight out of here yet, but whether I go up to Scotland from Bangkok to Athens up to Glasgow, and my daughter lives in southwest Scotland, near Dumfries, or as I call it, Dunfries, because it can get a bit very beautiful, but very cold.
So you were back in the country for Wycombe's most famous night in their history when they beat Oxford United. I mean, that was a tough time for a lot of people, but the football really sort of helped pull people through, didn't it?
It did, and Oxford being the local derby, so to speak, made it even more imperative, and and they dug deep, and it was just it was something you explain to normal, but they think you're mad. Football and what goes with it is more. You can't put a price on it. It's just, and when things are going, and even the wrong things are still talkable. And we shouldn't have this and that. It should have been a pen and da 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 da. But it's still lovely, and it's inherent all these years. And I had. Well, you may talk about the famous piece of merchandise, but we'll get round to that.
Brilliant. Well, Wycombe, Oxford, a night that all of us will remember, I think, for the rest of our lives. And fingers crossed, as you say, that we can get back up to the Championship again and do it when the fans are there, which would be hugely important because everyone missed it last time because they had to watch it on the telly.
I know. I wonder how many there'll be there tomorrow. It'll be 10 o'clock here. I'm in a bar called That Bar where I play a lot of pool, and I get my own television in the corner. On one bar has about 7 or 8 televisions, and it's a 7-hour time difference. And Paul sets me up. He said, "I'll set it up for you." Okay, I get my beer and I go and sit in the corner, and there's all mayhem going on around, but I should be intrigued with I'll be there glued to the television at 10 o'clock tomorrow night, and that finishes finishes at 11:45, and the drinks will still be going, but maybe, and they have a bell right in each bar, and you ring the bell, you have to buy everybody in the bar a drink. So we should have a look around and see how the purse is, and if they win, we should. It's another, but there are many crunch games coming up. Huddersfield, Stockport. Yeah. So we're still a long way, and I'm sure he's instilling the singularity of each game. But I do like Richard. I'm glad Richard Kone's back, but we're talking about players, etc.
We're talking ahead of the day before the Wrexham game. This will go out on Monday after we'll know the result. But I love to capture the anticipation of these games because I can see what it means to you, and we can all now picture you perched in a bar watching this in Thailand, which is fantastic. Right, let's move on to something new then. Your favourite player in the current squad?
It has to be. I watched the second half of the last game. And the tenacity, I hadn't seen it in a long while, unless I was mistaken. I don't think they were tenacious, and they seem to win more headers than ever before, and they really do jump high. I don't know whether your man's instilled that into him. And he's just Richard Kone. I love Akin Fenwa. I love his boldness, his bigness, his presence. But Kone is Ivorian, and he's swashbuckling. He can blast his way through, and he's skillful with it. And I do. And now he's coming. He's not there yet. He's back. He's done well. He scored the goal, the equalising goal the other day. And he's unassuming, and he doesn't give it large, but he's an asset without question. Without question. I'd love to meet him.
Top goal scorer in League One so far as well. But you said it there as well, unassuming. He's very humble with it, and he's really enjoying the ride that he's on.
Exactly. You can see that. And I like unassuming players like De Bruyne, Doku, both Belgians, and they're unassuming. And for me, that always makes a good player. And they're totally committed to the football game and do their best, their maximum best whenever asked. And it's Richard Kone. We've seen many forwards, many forwards, but they have a different breed of footballers now from what I saw earlier. A different way of training and goalkeeper coaches and all what have you. But yeah, he's there now, and we shall see. Long may it continue.
Absolutely. Richard Kone firing us into the Championship would just be one of the best football stories, I think, connected to our football club for a very, very long time. And we're all very much fingers crossed it happens.
I know, this podcast will be a light.
It certainly will. It certainly will. Right, something borrowed. Your favourite ever loanee or player that you wish we'd signed but never did? But we've got a few good loanees at the moment too.
I know that they come. We had a couple of. A bit shame for names here. A couple went back, and we changed marginally. A couple went back maybe 4-6 weeks ago, but they were good. And you can always tell the difference when they come down to us, and you see the mark difference. They just have that little edge to them. I watched Watford and Luton the other day, I think, and I was impressed with all of the speed of the players. And that when and if it happens, to be consciously aware of it is quite a leap from the Division 1 to the Championship, as you know. But the pace of these Watford players, and I was really impressed with them. There we go. I think they beat Luton in the end.
So who's, in terms of favourite loanees for Wycombe Wanderers? I mean, Cameron Humphreys is doing very well this season in midfield. He's from the Premier League, from Ipswich, but he's been a big influence on us this season.
I like Cameron, and they seem to have players that are all like Jack Grimmer. They're seemingly all collect. Obviously, the coaches always say, "Oh, they're all collected together." But you can actually see their disposition on the pitch and their antics, that they are players and want him well. And I didn't know where Humphreys was from the Premiership. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, from Ipswich. Yeah,
really.
Yeah. So yeah, he's shown his quality this season with us, definitely, and it's been good for him too, because they come and get regular game time. It's really important to develop the players, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes them realise, where they are and what they could be doing, possibly in the Championship or Premiership, wherever they've come from. But we could talk about forever and a day about all of who and how and what and why, and it must be a dilemma of how to choose on the day or prior to the day who he's going to play. All managers have this.
Right, then on to something blue. Your idea for a piece of club merchandise, is it going to have a tie influence?
Well, yeah, I had, and I was reflecting about this podcast, I had an Wycombe shirt. I don't know where I got it from. It was the old quarter blue and blue shirt. I had it. I wore it proudly for the games when I was there, and I don't know where it went to. I'm so sad, because I'd have it on all the time. I'd be watching the game, but where it went to, I really don't know. And but it was just brought back memory of the quarter colours for the Chairboys. And I've also been looking at the history of our club and where it started, in all the intricacies of all the managers came and went, and the Martin O'Neill, who I incidentally had on my shoulders twice.
Wow!
Yes, that's true. My claim to fame. He lived in Beaconsfield, and I had in 2 successive seasons in the clubhouse. Just picked him up and did it the very next season, if my memory serves me well. Nice guy.
Also, I think a little statue of you with Martin O'Neill on his shoulders should be in the club shop then. That should be your idea for the merchandise.
I'll go along with that, yeah.
I'm intrigued how he ended up on your shoulders. Was this a celebratory thing? You just saw him and picked him up?
Yeah, in the clubhouse. It was full, and it was just inspirational, and I think he knew what I was going to do, and I just I was obviously stronger then. I couldn't probably kill me now. I just got my head between his legs, and up he went, and he chatted for an hour long. He chatted, and then he gently tapped me on, and they were all in awe of him. And then that happened again the next year. I think we got promoted again without looking at the history of that. And the same happened again. He spoke to the crowd, full clubhouse. Yeah, it was happy days. It really was.
It seems to me you've kept yourself in very good shape. You've obviously been quite a strong man throughout your life because because you rang the office after what have been listening and watching Ringing the Blues for a while. You rang the office this week to say I'd love to be on the podcast, which is the first time anyone's phoned into this, which I'm very appreciative of. Your name, I googled your name to find out where you were, and the first thing that came up was you and Brian Jacks from Superstars. You were involved with his world record dips campaign, is that right?
That is correct. And he lives just round the corner from me. We knock around together. That's true. The story of that was, I could talk forever and a day, but so just give me a card or a nudge. I used to play squash at Handycross Sports Centre, and knock around. I knew the manager there. Colin, his name was Colin, and he said, "Oh, do you want to be a referee?" I said, "Yeah, all right, go on." I said, "Who's coming?" He said, "Oh, Brian Jacks, the hurdler, the boxer." The name Kevin Keegan.
Yeah.
So then I was chosen to do the dips, and we still argue to this day, Brian and I, that he said he did 101. I said, "No, Brian, you did 100." It was good fun, and I said, "Oh, you did that?" I said, "Yeah, I did that." So David Emery was the hurdler, David Emery, and a few other. John Conti, the boxer, but he was good, Brian.
What I love about this feature is, I mentioned this to you before we started recording, I've spoken to people all over Bucks, Wycombe, all over the world, and what it is, it's always about that tense moment, the 3 o'clock on a Saturday in the UK, and whatever time it is, wherever everyone else is in the world, everyone is together. You know, they're thousands of miles apart, but the spirit is all connected to that one thing going on in the UK.
We're interconnected. That young lad, I think he was about 23, nice lad. I'd like to meet him and tell him about, I think I did most of the South American countries. I went to the Galapagos. I've done multitudes there. But yeah, wherever you are, you just know you've got to find out who they're playing. How can I watch it? And you are inextricably linked all over the world, like tentacles, and down to Adams Park. Oh gosh, I wish I was there tomorrow. I am in spirit. And Duncan, who has 6 children, but he's only taking 3, I call him the tribal leader, and I said, "I'm standing alongside you." And the other day he couldn't get to a television, so I had to relate via FOTMob to him and and let him know what we were doing. And then when they scored, a lot of bad expletives came out. We won't go into that. But then the Richard popped up and we equalised, and there was euphoria again. Oh my God!
I love that. I love this experience of you, sort of your friend in Wycombe with his 6 kids, who lives in South Bucks, being told about what's going on in his own country by someone in Thailand, keeping him up to speed with things in Peterborough. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing, Emil, what we've done here. Yeah,
I've seen the full scale of how technology moves, but it connects us, which is good. Everybody has a phone here; they're always looking at it. Does my head in all honesty, but it is what it is. And but I'm happy for connections like this, and I shall float away from here. I'll probably go into the pool and have a splash.
Lovely stuff. Well, Emil, it's been fantastic to speak with you and get your memories of Wycombe. And we'll all be imagining you perched on your bar tomorrow in the bar in Thailand, along with the many thousands of others all dotted around the place watching the game. Emil, keep the faith, keep believing, and come on, you Blues.
Thank you so much. It was an honour to do our little bit. And that's really kind of you, doing a cracking job down there. Love to everybody, and may your God go with us, whatever. Thank you, thank you so much. Take care. Pleasure. Bye now.
That's it for this week's episode of Ringing the Blues in partnership with Virgin Media. No podcast next week because of the international break, so we'll be back after the game against Lincoln City at Adams Park in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, keep the faith and come on, you Blues.